Wow. Talk about being vulnerable. I cannot believe the 2 videos that the Spirit led me into putting out this morning. And I gotta tell you why they're out there, and I gotta tell you why I'm sitting here exactly like this right now. Those 2 videos, the first one from this morning that I released at 7:07, because as I could not sleep and drifted in and out of sleep last night, late in the night, that video jumped in my head. From December 2nd, I believe it was. It says on the title. I had to look back at the original file. December 2nd of 2021. And he said, Travis, I want you to release that video. I want you to get up, find it. First, got to find it. I'm like, I don't even know where to find that video. And find it. And I'm like, but I don't even know what it says. And I remembered, I just started off saying, hi, I'm Travis, in that video. It was so long ago to me now, in the spirit and in the flesh, it was to me, but... And so anyway, so I got up out of bed and and went to my computer, tried not to wake up Francia, my wife, and tried not to wake her up. I don't think I did, but she'll find out on this video. She'll find out I snuck out of bed because I couldn't sleep. And I started uploading the video and I woke up at exactly 7, had my alarm set for 7 for her, and got up and started the live premiere of it. And I'm like, wow, I don't even know what this says. I don't even know what I'm putting out there right now, Lord, other than, hi, I'm Travis, and a couple vague memories of things I talked about, almost 3 years ago now, when my channel was not even this channel. It was on my second Beast System Revealed channel, the one that ended in March of 2022. And then I didn't start this until September of 2022. So like when I was traveling for Who Is God Part 1. But, I'm still off, man, after watching the premiere. That's what I'm trying to get to. But God said, right now, get up, go down there, and start recording. And fortunately, I had all my stuff packed already. And so I started watching a little bit of it this morning as Francia was getting ready for work, and I was making her lunch and stuff. And so that after she left, I watched the whole thing, and I was like, geez, what on earth, Travis, what? But then I was looking at it in context of now present day ministry, and a lot of people obviously that didn't follow me a channel or 2 or 3 or 4 ago. I'm like, well, I guess maybe there's more context then to my overall message in that type of introduction, because you have to understand at that time on my channel in early December of 2022, I had just started putting myself in front of the camera very within like 2 months prior for the first time, although I'd been doing a huge online ministry since March 17th of 2020, right after COVID started, called Beast System Revealed. AvoidTheMark.com. I wrote an article called The Mark of the Beast Isn't What You Think: Trump, QAnon, Saint Germain, and COVID-19. And I published it on my own obscure website, and it ended up within 9 months. But right when the thing started, December 7th of 2020, December 7th of 2020, I had a huge channel. My website, AvoidTheMark.com, had led to over 100 million people in the world, in every country in the world. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, off of that one article that stemmed into an entire ministry that ends here, is starting really again, all over again, right here today. It started right when that first seal was open, but I didn't know it was the first seal yet, but I learned that 2 years later, almost exactly at the same time, on March 17th it was. That's when I put out the Beast Revealed, March 17th of 2022. 4 days after, the second seal was opened, when the beast began his war, the fiery red horse of war, in Revelation chapter 6. And so this was all before that. And when I made the video that I put out this morning, hi, I'm Travis, I wasn't even considering rapture or no rapture or how is this all going to play out. I just was talking about what God was putting in my spirit, which is what I always do. I always do, and even more so now. And so I watched that this morning. I'm like, man, that was uncomfortable. That was far more vulnerable than I remember being on that channel. Probably that's why so many people liked it. because it was more personal and vulnerable, and I didn't remember being that way. Today, I don't really. So then, I'm like, okay, what are we doing today, God? After I got done watching that, and of course I knew I was going to be recording this for you in some form in the Enoch series. I just had no idea other than starting chapter 1, which I keep wanting to do, but these messages keep coming out because the Spirit needs them to. Wow. I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay. So I'm going to be covering that, but then he had to be doing all these other things. Something really cool is coming. So I'm taking the copy, the PDF I have of the specific book of Enoch that we're using in this series, right? And I'm running a test on it with AI. I'm like, if I can use AI for this could be powerful, because this is really the best version of the book of Enoch, and I don't know where I found it. I don't know exactly. It's Andy McCracken. He wrote it in 2002, but I found it 2 years ago, and I guess I haven't really looked again right now, but it was some really obscure place I found it. I just stumbled on it. I downloaded it, and now I'm here 2 years later. But, and so what I'm doing, I ran it through an AI translator, which you can do in any language in the world. Because like I was saying yesterday, when Andy McCracken was writing in his introduction, he's like, there is no original Hebrew copy of this. And I was like, well, we could take the perfect English copy, which this seems to be, that we're covering with this PDF I have, and I could turn that into every language in the world. I could turn it into Hebrew like that, because AI allows us to do that. Thanks AI for that little thing, And so I ran it through in the Spanish version. And Francia is obviously extremely fluent in Spanish because she was born in Colombia. And so when she gets home, I'm going to have her look it over and see how good the translation is into Spanish. And if that looks promising, I want to get this out however I can. Just for free, of course. Just let people download in any language and get that out there somewhere. And I had a vision about that last night, too, as I was trying to sleep. And just, whoo! Just ask my wife. Are you kidding me? She's like, Travis, she said to me, she's like, yesterday, she's like, I didn't know the process was like this on what you do. I didn't know the process was like this. And I'm like, Francia, how many times have I told you? We've known each other for almost a year now. September 29th of last year was when she first contacted me. And I'm like, Francia, when I say I just follow God in the moment, I really mean that's what I'm doing. That's really what I'm doing. And she's like, well, yeah, that sounds good and everything, but isn't some of it you? And I'm like, well, now you see it's not. Because now you see you're talking to Travis, and then you watch me on that video, and I'm watching me on that video, and we're both like, what on earth, And she's like, but the things you have to go through and the steps God has to get you through to get you to land in front of that camera right at the right moment for all these things to happen and all these things to come out of you, and the way they come out of you, she's like, it's God. It has to be, I mean, and then this is the first time since I've been serving God deeply that I've been around anybody else going through the process with me on the moment by moment. And it kind of allows me to see it a little more clearer, because I see the reflection of it from her and her perspective. And I'm like, wow, it really, again, with the humbling ourselves, it further reflects on me how humble I need to be, because wow, I am, like I said in that video from 11:44, that wasn't supposed to be either. I'm uploading that video. I'm like, Lord, when am I supposed to publish this? I don't want to just hammer my channel with a bunch of videos. And so in my mind, I was going to release that one tomorrow morning after this one, right? Well, then, of course, this video wouldn't have happened. Whatever ends up happening in it, we'll see. But so I was like, okay, as it's uploading, I'm like, I'll schedule it for 7:07 tomorrow morning, right? That was my plan. And so that's what I did. And I scheduled it, and I do it the way I always do it. And I scheduled the time, and I doubled and tripled and quadruple checked to make sure it wasn't going to publish right away. But something was wrong. Something was wrong with it. Apparently, I've never seen this happen before. And so I hit publish, and it just started the premiere with a corny countdown that I didn't even have on there. That wasn't the one I chose, on YouTube. And I'm like, okay. And then I look at the time, it's 11:44. I'm like 1188. 8's just 8 because 8, I don't know, man. Something about 888. Yesterday there was something really spiritually key in the spiritual realms. I'm 100% sure of that. And I think what I put out yesterday, last night, I didn't realize, I didn't even have a chance. It's 33 minutes long. It ended up 33. I'm like, Lord, actually it ended up, all I do is I go step by step editing. You know how much I talk about threes, you know, the threes and the sevens. 777. God does everything in sevens. 777. All of his judgment is in sevens. All of his creation was in sevens. Sevens all through the book of Enoch. Sevens all through Revelation. 777. 7 days. And so I get done with the video, just editing it all down with the timing as I'm letting him direct me with the timing on cuts and everything. He's unbelievable when you're so in tune with just wanting to please him. That's it. Like, I'm not doing this for me. I hope you understand that. I would never put myself out there this way for me. And Francia keeps saying to me, Travis, be careful. I'm like, I just have to follow God, and we are protected. We are protected. And she trusts me. She knows. But seeing me go through the process of how this works, man, it's eye-opening. And it's eye-opening for me, because I think I didn't realize how intense sometimes spiritually it gets. Yeah, really. So I got done. So neither one of those videos I released this morning I watched at all before I put them out. And so then when the one just spit out right away, I'm like, but then I see it's 11:44. I'm like, all in your timing, Lord. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I was gonna just kind of watch the beginning of it and then come back and watch it later. And he's like, no, sit down, watch it. It's like an hour long. I'm like, but then when am I gonna get out there to do my video? I start arguing with him. And so I sit down, but then I started to get sucked into what I was talking about, and then I was starting to think, oh my gosh, how far am I going to go with this? How far did I go back then? How much did I say? How much did I explain? You know? And it kept going farther and farther and farther and farther. And I was like, well, that's what you told me to do, Lord. And I had some few gut punches as I said certain things in that video in particular, the one that's called The Path to God. I called it back then, The Path to God. Well, now you see the path to God I've been on. And there's no secrets, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, God is just like putting it all out there and forcing me to be vulnerable. And as I'm watching that message, I'm like, wow, this whole message called The Path to God, it's like I'm watching somebody else talk. First of all, that's Travis in the Spirit I'm watching. And second of all, that's Travis in the Spirit 3 years ago. And I even told a story in there that was one in particular that I couldn't remember the specific details of, but I guarantee you in that moment I knew and it mattered. And I was like, man, I got to remember that because it's probably important for now. But as I'm watching the message myself, I'm like, this whole thing ultimately is about vulnerability. It's about how vulnerable we need to be with God and with each other and trust each other so that we won't betray each other ever. We are all we have got on this earth, you know? The elect, as we'll learn in Enoch if he ever lets me start reading it. This series is going to last a long time, but man, oh, he's showing me some things with this. He was showing me last night again when I couldn't sleep. But vulnerability. And so I'm watching this and I get some gut punches listening to some things I said that now I've revealed to you about me, you know? And I'm like, God, it kept lifting me up. He's like, keep watching. And it kept getting more and more intense for me, reliving that. And then also knowing other people are going to be seeing this. I guess I was more vulnerable in that way back then. I don't know. With personal stuff, you know? And as you heard in one of the videos, I mentioned a Patreon that I was kind of doing at the time. I only ended up making like 10 patrons or something. And I was going to do like my personal side of my life on the Patreon with a paywall. And nobody was really interested. And I just kind of let that fade away because I'm like this. And ultimately, now I know for certain, I have known now for years that none of what I ever have done or will do for God will ever be for earthly riches, right? Never be for earthly riches, just enough to get me by, to serve the purpose he's put me here to do, whatever that is. And I'm just going to chase it every day, and nothing is going to stop me. Because the Spirit of God rests on me. His willing, humble servant. I'm nobody special, and I hope after you watch those 2 videos this morning, that you see that I'm not anybody special at all. I have a past. I have a history. I have things that, like we all do. and that's when God always reminds me, whenever somebody reminds me of my past, or whenever the demons, the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, whenever they start reminding me of that, because they have hungers, they have human flesh hungers that can't be quenched ever. They hunger, they thirst, they crave, and it can't ever be quenched, because they used to live in the flesh as the Nephilim, angel human hybrids, 2.12 miles tall, and so they try to live that through us. But they still get no satisfaction from it. That's why Mick Jagger said that. Demon. That's why all the rich and famous never get any satisfaction, because they're serving the demons. They're serving the Nephilim, the ones who devoured physically, basically the entire earth before the flood, according to Enoch. And so I'm out there now, boom, there you go, there you go. And God is telling me right now, again, chapter 1, it's going to wait till tomorrow. We're going to conclude, though. I'm going to read, there was one section of the introduction from Andy McCracken that I didn't read yesterday. Let me just get to it here real quick. I realized in that video, where I'm sitting on the stump in the snow, that I talk much, much slower, and it's not that annoying, so sometimes I feel like I go too fast in these recent videos. So there was the introduction we read yesterday. Go back and watch yesterday's video. Oh my gosh, so many things came. Things came through me in the spirit, things I know that I was really by no means ready to share, or I was prepared to share in any way at all. I just, it's like it just bubbled out of me as I went, and I was saying to my wife, it's like the best way I can describe when you're serving in the spirit and you're truly only trying to please the Father and have no agenda of your own other than that. When you're serving in the spirit, it's like surfing, right? I was trying to explain this last night as we were laying in bed. It's kind of like surfing. It's almost exactly like surfing. And you get out to have any fun, you got to work real hard paddling through the chop to get out far enough so that you can sit there and wait, waiting on God, waiting on the wave, waiting on the Spirit. And then when you see that perfect wave, you mount up and you ride it straight into the shore, and then you got to start all over again the next time. Just like with us, start all over again the next day and paddle our ways. That's the spiritual battle I go through every morning before I could ever dream of talking to anybody who cares to listen to what I have to say. And if only you were listening, only you, I would still do this. Because like I said in the video that I put out from 3 years ago, this afternoon, I learned so much in my walk with God. I have learned in an unbelievable amount from going back in those 2 videos to just understand, or just understanding God at all. I didn't understand the resurrections. I didn't understand there's no rapture. I didn't really, had no stance really on the rapture whatsoever. I never really talked about it on Beast System Revealed one way or the other. I was just talking about the mark of the beast. It's like God was leading me slowly into knowing what I need to know when I need to know it. And that's what he's doing with Enoch right now. And then within this, I thought this was going to be a lot of reading all the time. That's what I was going to be doing. And I wasn't even going to put my face in front of a camera for this. He tested me on this. He wants me to tell you this. He tested me on this. When he, after, I don't remember the exact moments, but after I was done with a certain video, before I started Enoch, right away, I'm like, I'm doing a whole series on Enoch. I'm doing a whole series. I knew it in my spirit right away. As I was really starting, that's what it was. As Francie and I were talking about Enoch and really starting to see it and understand it, like it was just coming to life instantly to us. And right away, I'm like, wow, I never dreamed of doing a series on Enoch. And God tested me, because all of a sudden, I was so excited. I was so excited to get started. doing it my way, doing it my style. And Enoch, I never dreamed I could talk on Enoch because I didn't understand anything about Enoch. And then Enoch came knocking. He came knocking. And in a hard way, upside the head. And so I was all excited about it, and then God tested me, but I didn't know it was a test right away. And he's like, just so you know, Travis, this whole series is going to be you, but it's not going to be you in front of the camera. That you're going to be doing like a lot of YouTubers do with the computer screen, and showing screens and showing the text on the screen so people can read it, and then showing interesting archaeological facts throughout this series, which is, we're going to get into a lot of stuff with the terrain of the earth, and Google Maps as it relates to what's in the book of Enoch, and how Enoch described the way the earth was back then, the way the earth actually was, with these gargantuan 2-3 mile tall creatures. and the remains, the ruins of them that still remain to this day, and much larger, that were buried in the floods of Noah. But the remains are still there. Oh, it's so interesting. And the fallen ones, what's interesting to me, and I don't want to get into it too much today, but we'll get into it in the next 1 or 2 videos, because really in the beginning, the fallen ones, what's interesting is people think that who's haunting us all the time, or who's constantly tormenting us or tempting us or accusing us or whatever the enemy does. Satan means the accuser, and we always think, well, that's the fallen angels doing that. But really, it's not. It's their offspring. It's the human demon offspring that now has fleshly desires. That's why they try to fulfill those fleshly desires through us. And when we're willing enough to allow them, they stay. And that's what we get with familiar spirits, right? But the fallen watchers themselves, they've already received their punishments. Like I believe it was Azazel, who was like the chief of these 20, I believe 20. Don't correct me on the numbers yet as we get into it. There's just so much flying through my head. But the watchers that decided to come and form a coalition, yeah, it was 20, and then their coalition was a total of 200. So there was like 10 over, or 1 over 10, 20 big ones and then 200 smaller within the hierarchy. But Azazel was like the chief of them all. And when Azazel received his punishment, he already received it, and he was buried and rocks put over his head, so he can't see nothing until the final judgment, it said. So it's their offspring, the human angelic offspring that torment the earth. And I don't know why that's so important for us to fully understand right now, but I'm seeing in the spirit that it is. I've said it a few times already. We're probably going to be getting deeper and deeper into that as we go. But yeah, Travis, be vulnerable. Remember, Travis, vulnerable. And so that test was ultimately that test of saying to me, you're doing this whole, and this might last a year, Travis, but you're doing the whole thing off camera. And initially I was like, well, that took a little enthusiasm out of me, because I'm like, and then I have I was trying to make excuses to God right away in my spirit. I was like, but then I have to, he's like, no, Travis, that's not why. It's not why you have to learn a new way to do things. You know that if I'm telling you to do it this way, in this new format you're going to start doing, he says, in this test, what I learned was a test, that I'll guide you in that, right? So I'm like, okay. And then I started to get some ideas, and I started to get a little excited. And then I realized really what my initial me saying, I'm not sure with God, was a pride issue, and also being comfortable just being in front of the camera now, which I didn't used to be. But I'm like, that's fine. And then at that moment I was like, that's fine, Lord, I'm ready. Let's do it. And so then it was to start yesterday, and it wasn't until I got up yesterday morning and I was feeling all lost and trying to paddle out into the chop to find the wave somewhere, and I'm just scrambling around and getting things done in between, but my whole mind is like, what is my message going to be today exactly, Lord? And I'm like, I can't go in front of the camera. You know, the weather doesn't matter. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even need to shower if I don't want to. Like, I can just, and I was getting my microphone out and I started to try to figure out which programs I was going to use. And I was ready to go, but I had no message still. And I was just, everything was not working right. I'm like, God, this doesn't feel like it's from you. And he said, it's not. He said, that was a test, Travis. That was a test. I wanted to see if you were willing to take this on with zero pride whatsoever, none whatsoever. And if you were, then it's going to be go time. You need to get whatever last ounce you have out of you. And he said, that was a big test because you were still just as excited. Once you got past that initial, once you got past that, he's like, now we're ready. He's like, now we're ready. And then yesterday's video happened, as it did. I'm glad to see there's some few more viewers that are starting to find my channel right now. And I welcome you. I welcome you to the journey. And I feel in the spirit I'm probably going to be releasing some of my early, you know, from my old channel, Beast System Revealed. I still have a lot of them on my computer. And I have a feeling some of my old live streams even that I did back in January of 2022 when I first understood Revelation 24, 5, and 6, which, by the way, I think, and I'm not ready to talk on this yet, but I'm going to explore it as deep as I can in the spirit. There's still a level of Revelation 20 that I'm not seeing, that Enoch is going to tie in for us. And I thought I was seeing it clearly enough today to preach on it when I was reminded of one thing and I was uncertain with one thing, and the Lord's like, you'll know when to talk about that. So I think we're going to find that out, that whatever that missing piece. I've preached Revelation 24, 5, and 6 since January of 2022 with those live streams, which I think I'm going to be, if the Spirit leads, releasing those throughout this series for context, for overall context of what I've been doing the last 4.5 years, almost now. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see, day to day, minute by minute, moment by moment, as I said in that video from this afternoon, and to be vulnerable with him moment by moment. So I passed the test, and then he said, this is what we're really doing. And it's to the point now where I feel like every message I put out is the most important message I've ever put out. And I think the fact of the matter is I'll feel that if I don't feel that way every single time, I'm not listening to the Spirit. So, well, we'll get going tomorrow, I promise, on this stuff. All in God's timing. And like I said in the intro, if the Spirit was not leading me into doing this, I wouldn't be doing it. I promise you that. I would be so intimidated by this, but talk about humbling. I'm just going to follow the Spirit. Come along the ride with me. Come along this ride. It could lead us down a path that we cannot yet imagine.
My morning song, though darkness fills the night, it cannot hide the light. Whom shall I fear? You crush the enemy underneath my feet. You are my sword and shield, though troubles linger still. Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. My strength is shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. And nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your hands. I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. Nothing formed against me shall stand. You hold the whole world in your hands. I'm holding on to your promises. You are faithful. You are faithful. You are faithful. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever, he is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side.
Que los cielos se abran aquí, tu presencia irrumpa en mí, mi sacrificio provoque que el cielo se una a la tierra. Que los cielos se abran aquí, tu presencia irrumpa en mí, mi sacrificio provoque que el cielo se una a la tierra. Que los cielos se abran aquí, tu presencia irrumpa en mí, mi sacrificio provoque que el cielo se una a la tierra. Se están rompiendo los cielos, su gloria está descendiendo, un hueco se abre en las nubes, podemos ver al Rey. Se están rompiendo los cielos, ángeles que suben, ángeles que bajan, 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 ángeles que suben, ángeles que bajan. Fluye hoy tu presencia en ese oh Señor, si rompieses los cielos para ver tu presencia descendiendo en nosotros, oh Señor, si rompieses los cielos para ver tu presencia descendiendo en nosotros, desciende en nosotros.